January is over and February has begun, and while I missed one of the main games I had hoped to play last month, I did manage to get through an entire trilogy, which I consider good enough. If you haven't seen my recent reviews, I've been diving into Atelier's Dusk Trilogy Deluxe pack all month, which was pretty much heaven as someone that's been in love with the series for over a year now. I also managed to get a little time into Persona 5 Royal as I continue to use its manga to help me understand the game, and actually got to some gameplay which proved to be a nice bit of nostalgia for another great JRPG. With a smaller list in this video that makes for a shorter video, I'm glad I've also been keeping to my promise of being more focused in my JRPGs and not playing too much at once. So with that, let's get right into the JRPGs I played in January as the first episode in this series for this year. My last 3 videos were reviews for each of the games featured in the Atelier Dusk Trilogy Deluxe pack, which I was grateful to receive codes for in late December and have been playing ever since. In fact, I had even played and finished Atelier Ayesha DX during my last JRPGs I Played video but couldn't mention it. But now that I can, I'm pleased to say how great it was again to finish last year and start this year with another Atelier trilogy, with Ayesha being my last game of last year and Escha and Logy DX being my first for this one. It felt good to return to this kinda older but improved style of Atelier to remind me what got me really into this series and of what I love in JRPGs in general, with the exploration, the fun character conversations, and unique systems interesting to explore in these older Ateliers. And while more recent Atelier games like Ryza and Lulua have done a great job at bringing these older systems into their best forms, it's great to see where they came from again in games like these, alongside discovering the fascinating story of Dusk. I've said a lot about these games individually in my reviews, so I don't want to repeat myself too much here, but I will say that I enjoyed seeing its overarching story that spans over 10 in-game years grow in each entry, both mechanically and as a world, and it's cool to have more to find in every entry still, thanks to the multiple endings and multiple routes that I look forward to exploring more. One thing I also wanted to answer in my playthrough was if this one is a good one to jump into the series with, both for newcomers and for those working back from Ryza, since some of you did ask me before this release dropped, and while I still have 2 more modern Ateliers to play from the Mysterious trilogy, from my Atelier experience, I would say Dusk is a great middle ground for the ones available now on PS4 and PC. They're modern enough to flow well, especially the Lost 2 entries, but old enough to give you a feel for time limit based Atelier, which is essential if you ever plan to play the original Arlen trilogy. So until I try Atelier Sophie and Furus and fully confirm my feelings, the Dusk trilogy is a great option, especially since it's available on Switch too, so most people should be able to pick it up. Now that I'm done with the Dusk trilogy, I'll probably take a small break from having Atelier as my main game for a bit, although I am playing a little Atelier Escha and Logy still on the side and plan to keep it on my PS4 hard drive for something to relax with in my free time, since I'm enjoying rediscovering playing things just for fun, which is something I want to keep doing in 2020. So all in all, I'm grateful that this re-release let me discover even more games to love from this bright and fun series. I'm curious to see what the series as a whole has in store for the rest of this year. In my Japanese study time recently, I've been switching between reading the Persona 5 manga and playing Persona 5 Royal. I've been putting a little more time into the manga since it makes playing the game easier, since I can learn all the words I need at my own pace first, and with that method, I've been happy this month as I actually managed to get to the first dungeon and into some gameplay, which as far as I'm concerned is a real part of trying to learn Japanese through games, as it makes it feel like you're not studying at all, at least until the next cutscene. Playing the game again is also reminding me just how great of a game Persona 5 was too, with its slick systems, UIs, and the way everything flows together seamlessly. And some of its powerful dialogue moments are really exciting to see all over again, and I haven't even unlocked confidant conversations yet. The manga has also been a great refresher for the story, and I would say is a good option if you're looking to refresh yourself on the story in a new way before Persona 5 Royal or Persona 5 Scramble when it eventually and surely properly makes its way to the West. I will say, after seeing the two side by side though, while the original does take much longer to play through, I also don't think anything quite compares to the original. Although I really like the manga, the combination of Persona 5's visuals, slow building dialogue, music, voice acting, and dialogue choices does wonders in building and hyping these scenes. And while there are now many quick options to get through its story, playing through the story again through Royal is having me hope that those looking to try the game for the first time do give it a try in this form, as I really do think it's a story worth seeing. I will still be sticking with the manga as it is enjoyable and helpful to me, and also be hoping I get some Royal time as well to test what I've learned, and maybe even see Kasumi in the story more, as I haven't seen her much in my playthrough since I started, as the core story I think is still getting itself set up. For now, it's a great trip down memory lane, and while Persona 5 Scramble will be the Persona game on my mind in February, I'll be keeping Royal in there too for some fun study time soon. I had a full thing written up about how February is a really quiet month and a good one for catching up on the backlog, and arguably it still is. But I think there's enough content to fill a whole month if you really wanted to, and that's kind of what my February is looking to be so far. The start of the month sees Fire Emblem Three Houses Cindered Shadows Side Story Expansion DLC come out on the 13th, which I'm hoping to pick up as it's based around new characters, a secret house, and a new location. I also haven't come back to Three Houses for a while, so this is a great excuse to come back to my Golden Deers and discover what this new side story has to tell. And since side stories were something I wished I'd spent a little more time with in my first playthrough, it'll be great to do so with some new content to add to my experience. Also, if you want to get on a full Fire Emblem Three Houses kick, the Byleth DLC for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate came out fairly recently and was what I was weighing up against the expansion pack for Three Houses, as I think both look great, and the Smash reveal video really did get me hyped. Now that that hype has settled though, I decided I am more interested in the JRPG content this time, but the Smash content always gets me just a little bit hyped. So with these two things, I'd say it's a pretty great month to be a Fire Emblem fan, and I'm sure fans will enjoy both these things. DLC aside, there is a new JRPG coming out too in the form of Rune Factory 4 Special, and this is something I also intend on picking up as it looks adorable. I already put one of its songs in one of my videos about JRPG music tracks I love last year, as I love how its opening duet fits the feeling the game gives off. It's got that lighthearted feeling that I've been enjoying from games like Atelier recently, and I've been waiting for it to release for a while. So it's great we'll be able to try it so soon, and I'm looking forward to trying my first Rune Factory game. That's most of what's happening in the West, but there are a few releases in Japan in February that I can't totally ignore, which are Death End Request 2 and Persona 5 Scramble. Death End Request 2 is one I won't be picking up, but I wanted to shout out since I have high hopes for it, as the first one was so good. And as for Persona 5 Scramble, it was looking like with all the Western releases this month that I was going to have to give it a miss for my wallet. But then Morgana came and dropped the announcement of a demo, and I couldn't be happier. Persona 5 Scramble will be getting a free Japanese demo for both PS4 and Switch on the 6th, and you can bet I'll be playing and downloading it as soon as it's out. I've been wanting to know if its action gameplay is truly as smooth as it looks, and see what its story tone is like for myself, as a game I kept finding myself falling down the rabbit hole of and wanting to know everything about. I'm also hoping to do a first impressions video, especially if you guys are interested, and I'm still also holding out hope that we'll hear about that Western release soon. But either way, I'm excited to play and talk about that demo as soon as it's out. Whether you stick with what's coming out in the West or try to play everything, February can be as full of JRPGs as you want it to be, with a few notable releases coming, and if that doesn't appeal to you, there's always the backlog. So as I go forward and try to play all of these exciting upcoming games and try to put some variety into my JRPG year, I look forward to talking to you all about them soon, and hope you enjoy what you play in February as well. Thank you for watching this video. Let me know in the comments below what you played in January and what you plan to play in February. You can like and share this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to my channel for more JRPG content like this, and ring that bell to get notifications on whenever I post so you don't miss a thing. You can check out more videos here, and you can find me on social media on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, all at JRPG Jungle. Links to those will be in the description below, and until next time, thank you, bye!